sometimes the cause of your resistance can be just this simple. It means when you think about your desire and you think about what you want, you see it as a future moment. You think, oh, it's gonna be so nice when I have, this money. It's gonna feel so good. It's gonna feel so fun. It's gonna feel so easy, and it does feel good. I mean, you can feel the movement within your solar plexus, but truly, the vibration, the foundation of that statement, it's shaky because you're saying it's gonna be so nice when I have it. It's gonna feel so good, and you can harmonize with those words, but the root of your vibration, the beginning phases of your vibration is shaky, wonky, because it's still something you're activating the fact that you don't have it right now. It's future. But what's interesting is that there is no future. It's all in the now moment. This now moment will carry you to the now, because when the future does come, it'll just feel like the now. And how you feel right now is usually pretty much how you're going to feel later. So your point of attraction really is now. Your power really is right now in this now moment. So you don't want to see your desires as, future tense. You can still think about your desires, even from this high flying disc. You can still think about your desire. And in fact, you really know when you've thought about your desire and did good work. When you think about your desire and you just feel good, you just feel satisfied. It just puts a smile on your face. You just feel like, yes, I can't wait for that. But you just want to make sure, am I putting it off to the future? Is it something like, okay, I'm dissatisfied right now, but when I have the money, it's going to feel so good. When I have this, it's going to feel so good. When I have this, it's going to feel so good. And that does sound good, but there's a resistance in that frequency. There's a resistance in that statement because you're noticing it's not here yet. And we're like, you really can't get around what is. You can't get around with the vibrations of the universe. But luckily, you have this guidance system. It's so interesting because when you came into this body, you really understood this experience. You really got it because you had no resistance. You were pure positive energy before you came into this body. So when you look at this world through the broader view, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna have a lot of fun, and I'm gonna just make friends. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have these creations. But you also understood that there was gonna be resistance in this universe. There was gonna be resistance in this time and space, which is what makes it a time and space, the resistance factor. And so you were like, cool. And what's funny is that you really understood so much that you were not going to be here forever. You understood that, you were bound to get bogged down in all the resistance and, owning up to what is, and just all the details about your life experience would follow you throughout the years. And you just were like, you know what, as long as it's fun and easy, I'll be there. But once it stops being that, I will, go on to the next lifetime. I'll go on to the next movie. And I'll always say the same because I'm a stream of consciousness. And so resistance never scared you. Even now, resistance may scare you because it's like, what do I do? What is this thing that I do with resistance? But we're like, it's not really something that you do. It's something that you not really avoid, but it's something you want to be aware of. And it's almost something like you want to yeet around. Like you want to just, go around it. It's like, imagine you're driving, right? And you're driving and you're not afraid of driving. You're not afraid of getting lost because you have this guidance system. You have this GPS. You have the maps on your phone. So it's not something that really is that scary. From going from point A to point B, it's not a terrifying journey. And the same thing, and that's how you saw when you came into this body. You were like, I'm not scared of reality. I'm not scared of resistance. I'm not scared of getting lost because I have this built-in guidance system. And this guidance system that you have is so fabulous. When you're driving and you're going the wrong direction, your GPS will go red and it'll be like, hey, like you're going the wrong direction, go that direction. But you don't, pull over the car and you don't cry about the fact that you're going the wrong direction. You just go in the right direction. But when it comes to your sophisticated GPS system, the GPS system that you came into this body with, and even before your body with, this GPS system is so sophisticated because it's so good at finding the very subtle resistance in you can't lie to your emotional guidance system. Your emotional guidance system can pick up on everything because it's so calibrated. And not only is it so calibrated, it's so sophisticated because it knows what the true reality is. It's tuned to your vortex, it's tuned to the higher frequencies, it's tuned to who you really are, your inner being, it's tuned to all of that. So it has so much guidance, it has so much sophistication, it has so much use to you. And it's like, are you really using your guidance system the way you want it to? And we're like, we're here to tell you how to really use your guidance system. So it's like, when you have that thought and it feels like negative emotion, you may want to pull over and you want to cry about it, but it's not something that when you think about it, it's like, oh, it just feels negative. It's not something bad. It's a good thing. In fact, because this is a thought that if I didn't have negative emotion, then I would just keep thinking about it. Isn't that so interesting? Because you're a creator, anything that you focus on is reality. Anything that you focus on is the truth. Anything that you focus on is truth by virtue of your attention to, because there's no reality without a perceiver for it. And so since you're the perceiver of that reality, it becomes your truth, and then you broadcast it out to the world and you're like, hey people, this is how it is like, and people will fall under your spell if they do or they don't. And so we're saying, like, how do you know what to focus on? if you don't use your guidance system. Because if you don't know if you don't have your guidance system, if you're not using the guidance system that you're born with, then you're just focusing on everything. You don't have guidance. You're just flopping around, and you're like everyone else. You're clocking in. You're listening to what other people tell you. You're getting a mortgage. You're doing basic things. You're working 9 to 5. You just wait. You push off all of your happiness for vacation, for the 1 week of vacation that you have, and then you're pushing off all of your joy for the retirement. And then once you get to retirement, you're bored, and then you just leave your body and you come back, more first gear. You come back more rebel, following what you want to do. And it's really like that, because when you don't have a guidance system, you don't really know what to do. You're just hoping for the best. But we're saying today is that it's not really like that, because when you have your guidance system, you truly are guided. You always knew the negative emotion would guide you. So when you're in your now moment and you feel negative emotion, it's like you don't need to do anything about it. Your negative emotion is just telling you, hey, this is not a thought that you want to keep thinking. So instead of litigating it and be like, hey, like, why is that? Because when you're like, oh, I don't have any money, like that's so annoying. Like I probably won't get any money today. And when you feel that negative emotion, you think, oh, I'm not getting any money because I feel negative emotion. You're right, fine. I'm not getting any money. I'm not going to believe. I'm not going to move on. And so at the first sign of negative emotion, you give up. What we're saying is that, what are you giving up though? Because you're not giving up your desire. You're not giving up your resistance. You're giving up your desire. But it should be the opposite. You should be giving up your resistance, meaning you should be giving up your you should just be giving up that thought. Give up that thought, meaning don't look back at it. Be like, oh, it feels negative. Keep moving. Because when you really understand that there's a stream and it's taking you, your path has already been created. That's what's so interesting, is that your path has already been created, and you are the one who set the path into motion. Because as a result of your being here and your desire being summoned through you, you're being created a path just for you. And this path is, your trajectory is already set. And so all you have to do is walk on that path. But the thing about walking on that path is that, and here's the thing, going in the direction of your path is where everything that you want to go. But humans, because you have negative emotion, you do this thing where you feel negative emotion and you stay and you look in the other direction. Instead of going in the direction that you're supposed to, you keep looking in the direction that you're in the opposite direction, because negative emotion because when you look at reality and when you look at what is, you can't do that thing which doesn't allow what you want to happen in the manifestations without negative emotion. Negative emotion will always tell you when you're doing that thing, like this is your resistance. So you can't really be unaware, because your negative emotion literally tells you. But instead of negative emotion being a positive thing, it's something that's negative, something that's demonized, and you're just like, oh my god, I feel negative emotion, like this is so scary, it's so hard, I'm not gonna have it. But negative emotion is just telling you, like, negative emotion just gets really hard to deal with when you think that thought longer. Because when you feel negative emotion, it should be like, well, I'm gonna take my hand off that burning stove, because the longer it's like, imagine if you touch a stove for a second, like your healing time is not that long, but your recovery time is not that long. But imagine if you keep your hand on the burning stove for like a minute, meaning you're thinking that negative thought over and over again, you're berating it, you're thinking about it, you're pigeonholing it, you're trying to get to the bottom of it, your hand is literally searing, and then your recovery time is longer. It's literally like, it's pretty much like that in a more or less dramatic way, because that's what momentum is, whatever you focus on. And so your inner being is so smart, because your inner being is like, you have this guidance, listen to us, listen to what we're saying. We run the show in the very vibrational world, so listen to our negative emotion. When you feel negative emotion, that's not us. And so what we're saying is that you can't even get it wrong. The only thing you could really do is you could just have negative emotion. Isn't that so interesting? Is that the only way that you could really get it wrong, like quote unquote, is just have a negative emotion. But even in having negative emotion, you're doing something good. So you know what that means? And that means that you are going to get everything that you want. It's not only like inevitable, it's happening no matter what. And even if you have to leave this body and go into another body to experience it, like you're still, or even if you leave this body and go back into your non-physical body, you're still going to have it. Well, that's the thing that's interesting, is that resistance is such a, like, especially just the ones who really came into this body, really remembering who they were. Resistance is something that's so like confusing and confounding, but also it's something that truly is something to get used to, because it's so weird to live in a reality that doesn't match your mind. It really is, because in your mind you can be whoever you want to be. When you look at reality, you become very distant, you become very confused. But we're saying, like, that's what we're saying, is that what you trust, what you value, what you think is real should be more depend on what you're feeling, because you can't control how you feel. I mean, you can't control your thoughts, you can control only how you feel. That's all you have to do, because your emotions are more smart. Your emotions are literally telling you what to do. And negative emotion is just, it's such a good thing. It's such a good thing. And this path is, you're getting on this path, and you can slow yourself down. That's the thing is that's so interesting, that you can really slow yourself down by doing that thing and that negative emotion. And think about, because what you feel negative emotion about is usually about what is, and what is so like, it's so enamoring. You're like, you know what, you're right, and so when something is right, and when something's logical, you want to think about it. And when people come up to you with criticisms, the only thing it's not about their opinion about you, it's about what you think. So when they criticize you, it's because you think those criticisms about yourself. Someone needs to hear that. So use your negative emotion, use your guidance system. We're saying that you can't really mess it up. You just can slow things down, but even when you're slowing it down, it doesn't really matter because you're still gonna get to where you want to go. So have fun, have fun. And that's so interesting is that you can't even get it wrong. You can't even get, the only thing you can really do is have negative emotion. And even that negative emotion is such a good thing because it's like, oh, like true. Like I just, it's literally telling you you're going in the right direction. So when you have negative emotion, what do you do with that? What do you do with that information? You just keep moving. You keep moving forward. You just don't think about things that make you feel like emotional because why would you pick that? Why would you pick something up that's burning your hand? Isn't that so interesting? Is that negative emotion means it hurts. So why would you pick something up that hurts? Oh, I should think about it because I should think about it. And we're like, no, you really, because you're negative. Like when something feels negative, that means you should drop it. You should let it go. You should not think about it. You should not revisit that thought. It's a good way to put it. You should not revisit that thought because you don't need to. Because and then you see you become left in a space of just satisfaction of just like, yes, I'm just going and do you feel that forward motion? You're just going forward, you're moving forward, and you just feel the harmony with who you really are. And that's really it. And do we want you to sit tight and just sit there and just be satisfied? Kind of, yeah, because in the beginning it will feel slow because you're so used to negative momentum. Because instead of having no momentum, you would rather have negative momentum. You would rather be worried than be chilled, because even in your being worried, you feel movement, you feel something, whereas in satisfaction it kind of feels boring because you want to feel emotion somewhere. What we're saying is that you're going to feel emotion somewhere regardless, but when you have negative emotion, then you feel stuck. But if you let go, if you realize that you don't have to let go of the negative emotion, you just have to stop thinking the thoughts that the negative emotion is telling you, that's negative in nature. Then you could just, you're on your way. The thing is, you're really on your way, and we want to give you the forecast that you're going to get everything that you want to go, you want to get, and also that everything your life can change overnight. It really can, because it's all about what you're doing now, and you just want to be happy now. You want to just be like, yeah, I just feel good now. Yeah, I just feel good about my money now, and I can't wait for it to happen. No, you just want to say, I just want to feel good about my money now. I just feel good about my YouTube channel right now. It's just so fun. It's so interesting. And you want to leave the part of the future experience out. Leave it out. Leave the parts out that you don't like. Leave the parts out that you're not sure of, and your guidance system always has your back.